Welcome to the Jenspiration Conversation. My name is Jennifer, and if this is the first time that one of my videos has landed in your feed, I very much welcome you to this space. Thank you for stopping by. It means that the universal algorithm, Spirit's algorithm, has put this video in your feed for a reason, so there could be something in here for you. To returning viewers and subscribers, thank you so much for coming back to hang out with us here again and just have another Jenspiration conversation. Here we talk all things spiritual, but we make it street. Street spirituality is our brand, and if that sounds like you, then you have found the right place. I just got back from walking the dog and my hair's everywhere. Anyway, today's video, I want to talk to you about integrating your shadow. In the spiritual community, you might hear people talk about integrating your shadow. I've integrated my shadow. What does integrating your shadow mean? How many times can I say integrating your shadow in the intro? But that's what I want to talk to you about today. I do have some notes that I might refer to over there just because I don't want to miss anything. But before I actually get into integrating your shadow, I should tell you what your shadow is in case you don't know. So when you think of your shadow self, these are simply just aspects of you that might be considered on the darker side, okay? We all have feminine and masculine energy. We all have light and dark energy, okay? We have a mixture of both. And it's this lifelong journey to balance those energies out, right? Sometimes you might be a bit more in your masculine or a bit more in your feminine, and sometimes you might be more in your shadow self versus your light self. One can't exist without the other. That's just the duality of things, and that's the way it works. So hiding from your shadow self is exhausting, and it takes up a tremendous amount of energy and time and emotions. And I'm going to say energy again because it does take up a lot of your energy. So your shadow self are aspects of you that are existing within you and will probably always stay within you that just want to be acknowledged. Things like shame, jealousy, guilt, perfectionism, projection, those types of things that a lot of people hide. They put on a facade and they're like, no, I don't have any of those things. What are you talking about? I'm this perfect person and I'm projecting perfection. Do you know how much energy it takes to project perfection? It's exhausting because I did it for decades. I projected all the time that I was all things to all people. I was the cool girl. I always had my shit together. I never asked too much of people. In relationships, you want to talk about the quintessential cool girl, I'd be like, oh, yeah, of course, you can blow me off for your friends because I'm the cool girl and none of that shit affects me. It was me not looking at the shadow aspects of myself as to why I did those things or fell for those things or accepted those things. So in order to integrate your shadow, you have to go look at your shadows. You have to go look at the things that you don't necessarily like about yourself, because that's all your shadow wants. Your shadow self just wants to be acknowledged. It exists in you. But if you always try to love on the light parts of you, your shadow gets pissed off because it's like, acknowledge us, acknowledge us, acknowledge us, and then it's just going to get louder and more pronounced, and it's going to take more and more energy for you to try to suppress it. So in order to integrate your shadow, you have to do shadow work. You have to go to the depths of yourself and sit with yourself And ask yourself questions like, why does this trigger me? Why does this bother me? Why do I behave this way? Why am I short-tempered? Why do I have a fuse with this person? Why does this person annoy me? Why do I get like this in certain situations? Why do I behave like this? You have to start asking those questions and scraping out and digging at the shadow, because it needs to be brought to the light. Once your shadow has been brought to the light and you love on it and you work through those pieces of yourself, then you can integrate it to become fully whole as who you are. Because, like I said, it's that balancing act of your light and your dark. They always want to stay in balance with each other. Because, again, one can't exist without the other. We need our shadow self, just like we need our light self. We need our feminine side, and we need our masculine side energy, same thing. So, when I talk about today on integrating your shadow, I'm going to give you a couple of personal examples that I hope will help make sense. Because in the spiritual community, I have noticed that influencers just start popping off with catchphrases like hashtag doing shadow work today, and just came through a bout of hashtag shadow work. And it's like, that's not what shadow work is, because if you were really doing it, you wouldn't be hashtagging anything, okay? You wouldn't be on camera hashtagging anything, because shadow work is hard. It's time consuming. It's emotional. It's sometimes all consuming, because once you stop suppressing those parts of yourself that you don't want people to see, and you're like, come out into the light, you're exposed. So your vulnerability is, you're just like out there, and you're especially vulnerable with yourself. But now that I've integrated my shadow, I behave differently. And I know that people are starting to notice. I know that the people in my life are like, whoa, like I didn't expect Jennifer, I didn't expect Jennifer to answer that way, or I didn't expect her to not show up like she always does. And it's because I've done various bouts of shadow work, and now I'm integrating my shadow self. So instead of suppressing all of the things I didn't like about myself and the shit that I used to hide from people, I am now integrating it so that when my shadow self makes itself known, I just go, okay, yep, this is an aspect of us. I accept it and I move on. Just like my light side, when maybe I operate from a place where I feel I'm using a lot of integrity, because to me integrity is a light aspect of a human, I don't gloat in that, right? I stay tempered with it. So if I did something one day where I felt like I showed a lot of integrity, it's the same as recognizing my shadow aspect. I recognize my light aspect and I just acknowledge it and be like, okay, cool. That's a light aspect of me. And then I keep going about my day. So when a shadow aspect comes out, I treat it the exact same way so that they can both stay balanced. This has taken a very long time. My journey, my spiritual awakening has taken 4 years, and I'm still in it. But over the past few months, I've really integrated my shadow, and I've started to almost kind of smirk when my shadow makes itself known. I'm like, okay, cool. That is an aspect of myself that, yep, she's there. She's just popping up today, but she's not going to stick around, because I just acknowledge that shadow and I go about my day. So the two examples I want to give you is, the first one is jealousy. And Am I a jealous person? Yes. And see how I just said that without rambling or coming around and telling you all the reasons why I'm a jealous person? Am I a jealous person? Yes. At times, the shadow aspect of myself that I have acknowledged as jealousy will make itself known. And lately, what has been triggering that jealousy is people that I come across who are in relationships, because I haven't been in one for a very long time. So I'm jealous of their relationships. I am jealous that they, in my perception, haven't done any work on themselves, and they're just blissfully unaware, and they're just in these relationships. And on the outside, they look loving and caring, and I'm jealous of that. I'm jealous of that because I feel over here in my world that I have done so much work on myself, and I'm still sitting here single. So I get jealous when I see it in people I know, or when I stumble across someone who is in a brand new relationship, and I know them, and I know their history, and I know that they haven't done a quarter of the work that I've done. Yep. Am I jealous? Absolutely. But I acknowledge the jealousy. I just say, okay, yeah, you're feeling it a certain type of way about this new piece of information that's just come in. Someone has just told me, hey, I just started dating someone and blah, 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 and they're great, and we're going away in a week or two, and, you know, whatever. I get jealous. But I don't sit in it too long. I acknowledge the jealousy, and then I just say, okay, why are you jealous, Jennifer? What aspect of you is jealous? Are you jealous because they have someone? Are you jealous of the type of relationship? Are you jealous because it was quick? And then I just scratch a little bit more shadow work out, and then I move on. That's it. And I don't sit in it. I just have to let it go. Because if you sit in it, that's the opposite, right? I'm not going to sit in that because I just want to acknowledge it. It popped its head up. I'm jealous. I acknowledge that I'm jealous, but I'm just going to acknowledge it, put it away, and keep going. I've integrated that into an aspect of myself. The second shadow aspect of me is, am I always happy for other people? No, I'm not. Sort of for the same reasons that I get jealous. So I look at other people's lives, especially the ones that are in my life. This doesn't apply to like celebrities and people online. I don't care what anyone else is doing. But when there's someone around me that is telling me all of these things, and they're getting all of these things that I don't have, a shadow aspect of me pops up and says, you're not happy for them at all, are you? And I'll go, no, I'm not. I'm not. And in the moment, the nice thing to do, of course, is to acknowledge and be like, that is fantastic. That is terrific news. But what I've stopped myself from saying is, I'm happy for you. If I am truly not happy, I won't say it. But I will say things to acknowledge that they feel happy. Okay? So there's the difference. So pretend you just told me that you just won some money, you've got yourself a new partner, you moved in with this partner to a brand new house, you got, I don't know, and you bought a new car all in the span of 2 months. and you've just run into me and you're telling me all of these things and you're bouncing and you're light and you're da-da-da-da-da, and I know you, and I am not happy for you because my shadow aspect doesn't feel like you deserve it. But in that moment when you're telling me and you're smiling and you're sharing this news with me, I will say, that is fantastic for you. That is wonderful news. You seem happy. You're glowing. But I don't say I'm happy for you because that feels untrue to my authenticity. And listen, a lot of you might watch this video and be like, that Jennifer girl's a bitch. I'm not a bitch. I'm just a girl who has integrated her shadow, and I'm trying to live as authentically as I possibly can, because I don't want to say to you, oh my God, I'm so happy for you, because see how that didn't even sound sincere or genuine? It's because it wasn't. Now, if I am absolutely happy for you and genuinely like, oh my gosh, I am stoked for you and thrilled to hear that news, you'll feel it because my energy will be different, because the shadow didn't pop up at the same time. My light popped up. So I'm like, oh, I'm thrilled for you. Congratulations. Da, 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 da. I do all of the things. But when I am not happy for you, it's a shadow aspect of me. And listen, there's no way that you can tell me that every single time someone has told you something that you are thrilled for them. Okay? You're not thrilled for them. Be honest with yourself. You can still be a nice person and not be happy for someone else. Two things can exist at the same time. That's the beauty of integrating your shadow, okay? That is the beauty of being an authentic person. And it takes work because you're going to want to perform and you're going to want to project perfectionism, and you're going to want people to think that you are this well-rounded human and that you are thrilled for them or that you're not jealous of them at all and all of these things. But if you truly aren't, sorry, it's the Canadian me, aren't. If you truly aren't, don't fake it. Integrate the shadow aspect of yourself, okay? It's hard. It's hard. It is so hard to do. It is so hard to do. In fact, I'm struggling with it because I'm like, man, I've done all this shadow work and I know the next step is I need to integrate the shadow. I don't want to suppress those parts of me anymore. I want to just acknowledge them for what they are and then just be able to move on. Just like I acknowledge the light aspects, just to be able to move on. Light can't exist without dark, and dark can't exist without light, because you wouldn't know it was dark if it was always light. And you wouldn't know it was dark. You wouldn't know if it was light if it was, oh, what am I trying to say? You know what I mean, right? You wouldn't know what light is without dark. And you wouldn't know what dark is without light. That's how we know. That's how we know, because they both exist. So these two things exist in you. They both do. The shadow aspects and the light aspects of yourself. So integrating them takes time and it takes work. But you're going to get better at it once you've acknowledged what your shadow aspects are and you go dig around in it. Go dig around in the muck of your shadows. Don't be scared. It's a part of you and it just wants to be acknowledged. And the more you suppress it, it's not going to go away. Your shadow self will never go away. It just wants to be part of you as well. But so many of us push it away because the light is so much shinier. And the light is what the world expects. Everyone expects you to be light and love all the time. That's not true. You were born of pure light and love, but being here on earth, we have a shadow self. As a human being, we have a shadow aspect. So it has to be integrated. It has to be integrated so that you can live authentically and you can live balanced with both of those things. So some of you might be like, well, how do I integrate it? I was trying to think before I sat down to do the video. I'm like, how did I integrate it? And it's not like one light bulb moment where I'm like, oh, okay, this is the trick to integrating it. It's just the acknowledging of it and then going, okay, that's just how I feel right now. So we'll just keep using jealousy. So if you're having a conversation or you're with a group of friends and someone's telling you something and you feel the shadow aspect of a pang of jealousy, it's okay. Let her or him, or however you acknowledge your shadow, let it come to the surface. And even if you're sitting with friends, maybe quietly to yourself, you can be like, oh wow, I'm really jealous right now. Cool, I'm jealous. We're going to unpack that later when I'm not around people, but I'm really jealous right now. Interesting. Because jealousy is an emotion just like joy. You're allowed to have joy, but you're also allowed to be jealous. Okay? And you're allowed to not be happy for everybody. And you're allowed to think that not everyone deserves it because they're a piece of shit human. That's how I feel. I feel like there's some people out there that don't deserve half the shit they have because I'm like, you're not even a nice person. That's a shadow aspect of me. And it's me projecting. Because projection was part of my shadow. And I had to dig through all of that muck. So that's it, people. That's what your shadow is, which is kind of why I went with black and white decor today. I wanted you to see how beautiful black and white are together. I'm even wearing black and white. I'm drinking out of a black, I need a little drink. Black and white, light and dark, masculine and feminine. It exists all at the same time. So that is the video I wanted to share around integrating your shadow. Let me just check my notes to make sure I got everything. Yeah. Look at that. Once you acknowledge your shadow, you'll stop draining your energy all the time because it takes so much energy to hide it. And I also wrote down here, you're turning the suppression into acceptance. So the suppression of your shadow aspects, turn them around to acceptance. Okay? You don't need to suppress them anymore. Just turn them into acceptance. Once you do this, you will stop projecting. It stops and eliminates perfectionism, and you will stop performing, because I did. And that's why I said earlier in the video that people have noticed that I've changed. Of course I've changed. I'm not performing anymore. I'm a little bit more authentic. And I've said this in other videos that once you go through your journey and you do your awakening and you go through your stages, and shadow work is part of the stage, you will start to vibrate out of people's lives, and you'll vibrate out of situations because you're raising your vibration. The more shadow work you do, the more balanced you become, the more you raise your vibration. So shadow work is part of the process. And the more you suppress doing it, you're just going to hold yourself at a frequency when your higher self and source and everyone else is calling you to a higher one. If you don't take a look at your shadow, you'll just hang out at that certain frequency when your soul wants you to rise up. And so does your shadow. Your shadow wants you to rise up. That's why it rears its head. It wants you to just look at it. Okay? So, that is the message today. And I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you sitting here and listening. But I also appreciate that you have given me a safe space where I can say these things and use personal examples. I didn't want to come here and use fake examples. I was thinking to myself right before I was filming today, I thought, you know what, Jennifer? Give real examples. Tell them about your actual shadows, because maybe you have the same ones, maybe you have different ones. But when you click off the video and you think to yourself, okay, yep, I have a shadow aspect of myself that's jealousy. I'm also like Jennifer, and I'm not always happy for people or whatever. So thank you for having this Jenspiration conversation with me. It's always a pleasure to share this space in the internet world with you. And if you feel like commenting below, I'm creating a supportive collective here where we are there for one another. So I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much, friends. Bye-bye.